Picture Balerion the Black Dread, wings blotting sunlight, jaws built to crunch castle gates. Now, imagine a skull so colossal Balerion could rattle inside it like a pebble in a cavern. Welcome, dragon seeds. I am Maester Black of Dragonstone, and tonight we exhume 10 legendary dragons that may have dwarfed even the Black Dread himself. The drakes we discuss tonight are creatures either hinted at in brittle scrolls or kept alive by the fever dreams of fandom. We'll climb a ladder of immensity, each rung stamped canon when the beast is named in George R.R. Martin's texts, fan lore, when its shadow is cast by collective imagination. At the summit waits an empty throne only you can fill. So temper your steel for debate, strike the subscribe button so ravens keep finding you, and share this tale with that friend sworn to argue every size estimate. The sky is about to feel very small. Our journey begins with drakes merely larger than Balerion and ends with monsters whose wings could roof kingdoms. I will weigh what little evidence survives. Bones in desert sands, half-remembered battles, the jagged scar that once marred Balerion himself, and invite you to decide which titans belong to history and which to myth. Quills ready? We ascend. The oldest songs of the first men name Serwyn of the Mirror Shield, a knight so daring he lured a dragon to stare at its own reflection, then speared the beast through the eye. That dragon was Urax. A trick like that works only if a man on foot can hide beneath a mirrored surface wide enough to eclipse him. Proof that Urax's skull outspanned Balerion's 30-foot brow. The tale survives in campfire verse and the dustier pages of Winterfell's library. Nothing more. No skull, no scales, only the echo of an eye ruined by human cunning. Could a single knight fell a titan? Or is Urax himself proof that stories grow as large as the fears that birth them? Decide for yourself. But if a polished shield could blind such a beast, the Black Dread would have needed a mirror the size of a moon. Across the scorched dunes south of Vestoloro, Daenerys Targaryen's riders once cantered their horses through the yawning jaws of an ancient carcass. Translate that. A full warhorse, saddle and all, trotted beneath the fangs of a dragon's skull. And the horse's withers did not scrape bone. Even the museum's skull of Balerion could not boast such girth. The books grant the beast no name. Some scholars claim it fell in the final Giscari War. Others, that it was wild and never ridden. Sandstorms have stripped it to alabaster ribs that jut like white sails against a crimson sky. If bones could talk, would they whisper the name of a forgotten rider, or laugh at any maester arrogant enough to think the age of titans is past? Either way, add it to the ledger, a carcass proven by eyewitnesses, larger than the Black Dread. Jaenara Baleris was a cartographer of legends. A century before the Doom, she mounted her dragon Terax and charted the green hell of Sotharios farther than any map dared paint. Surviving that continent's jungle titans and poison mists demands obscene lifting power, wings capable of churning humid air, thick as stew, and muscles to match. Scholars who reverse engineer the feat reckon Terax's wingspan well beyond Balerion's 300 feet. Otherwise, dragon and rider would have crashed into the canopy long before the coastline vanished astern. Records give us but one line, farther south than anyone ever went before. Yet sometimes a single sentence shouts louder than volumes. To do the impossible, Terax must have been built on a scale the world no longer sees. Imagine a furnace breath lizard clearing landing pads with streams of wildfire, and you glimpse why many maesters place Terax among history's true sky gods. Now turn your gaze beneath the earth. Imagine a dragon stripped of wings, left to burrow through magma like a basilisk of living bronze. Valyrian slaves called such horrors fireworms. Hatchlings were no larger than a child's arm, but elders carved tunnels wide enough for ore wagons. Septon Barth writes that ancient miners found burnt and blackened corpses wherever cracked stone hissed, signs that something huge, hot and hungry had passed. These worms thrived in the 14 Flames long before Valeria's first Dragon Lord climbed a volcano rim. If even one lived long enough to molt through centuries, its girth would have surpassed airborne cousins whose growth slowed once flight became a burden. Picture a serpent of molten iron, hundreds of feet long, coiling through volcanic roots, perhaps even the unseen claw that ripped Balerion when he strayed too near the ruins. That thought keeps more than one maester sleepless. 56 AC. Balerion returns to King's Landing after a mysterious year away, Aerea Targaryen barely alive on his back. The dragon's ebony scales are torn by a 9-foot rent that hisses steam and blood. Maesters stand mute. Nothing in Westeros could wound the Black Dread. Where had he flown? The likeliest lair, the smoking ruins of Valyria. Whatever stalks those broken caldras left its autograph across Balerion's hide, suggesting talons longer than a man and fire hot enough to scorch the unscorchable. No skull, no name, only a scar, and scars do not lie. Somewhere beyond the boiled stone of the freehold, a beast lives so vast that even Balerion, world breaker of Aegon's reign, came away bleeding. The wound closes, the question gapes open. What hunts in the shadows of fallen Valyria? Ironborn priests still preach beneath her fossilized ribs. Naga, says the Age of Heroes, drowned whole islands and feasted on krakens. The Grey King slew her with fire stolen from the gods themselves and built his long hall from her bones. Those pillars survive, tide-bleached vertebrae taller than Hodor, each rib arching like a cathedral buttress. Measure the hall and you measure the dragon. Even conservative estimates place Naga's length at twice Balerion's, her skull a tidal cavern. Myth, perhaps, but there is nothing mythical about the stone ribs salt-kissed beneath the cliffs of Old Wyke. They are there for any doubter to touch, daring us to conceive a sea-spawned behemoth that made islands tremble. Now we leave the safety of parchment for the raw, storm-lit seas of fandom. Archaon is the living eclipse, coal-black, crescent-horned, so enormous that when he spread his pinions, the stars themselves winked out. First whispered in tabletop campaigns, later sketched by artists, then animated in countless theory videos. Archaon guards the crumbled gates of Valyria in the popular imagination, swallowing volcanic lightning to fuel midnight blue fire. No canon text names him, yet mention the Night Eater in any forum, and replies flood in artworks, battle sims, stat blocks. Some myths burn bright enough to feel real, and Archaon feeds on that belief. Until George R.R. Martin speaks, the Night Eater remains folklore, but folklore powerful enough to shift click-through rates and spawn 1,000 thumbnails cannot be ignored. You know them well. Ash-black scales that drink moonlight, wings broader than city walls, teeth taller than keep gates. Our own earlier video anointed these living siege engines as apex predators of Valyria's earliest centuries. Viewers crowned them the new yardstick for impossible size. Artists layered lava veins beneath their scales. Animators gave them roars that quake mountain roots. Canon offers no word of them, yet their legend now storms discussion boards and convention panels. When new fans picture a dragon bigger than Balerion, they picture this obsidian titan. Has community belief birthed a monster into quasi-existence? Stranger things have happened in storytelling. For now, the colossi dwell in the liminal space where imagination sharpens truth's outline. And there they thrive. Sailors who chased the dawn north of the White Waste speak of living glaciers with blue-white eyes and breath that freezes fleets mid-oar. The world of ice and fire states, with unsettling certainty, that they are far larger than the dragons of Valyria. Their wings are translucent crystal, their bellies grind like shifting pack ice. No scholar has preserved a skull, ice leaves little for archaeologists, but old Nan's chill tales and Jon Snow's quiet wonder as he patrols the wall's frosted tunnels keep the legend alive. Picture a leviathan so vast its shadow shrouds an entire bay, breath so cold it shatters masts to frosted splinters. If even one ice dragon exists, Balerion's outline would fit comfortably inside its own, a thought to freeze the blood even of dragon lords. And so we stand before an empty throne in the clouds. Which titan truly deserves the crown? Does Archaon eclipse them all? Does a fireworm older than empires still coil beneath Valyria? Does some nameless ice leviathan wait beyond the curtain of Aurorai? Or does an undiscovered skeleton dream beneath the dunes of the Red Waste? The lore grows where belief takes root. Comment below with your champion, cite your evidence, challenge dissenters. In 1 week, we'll tally the votes and return with a full dossier on the creature you proclaim supreme. 10 shadows stretched across the firmament, some etched in canon ink, others stitched from the bright thread of fandom, all towering over Balerion the Black Dread. Should even one of these giants stir again, the world would tremble anew. Like this chronicle, if you relish uneasy truths, share it to confound your sworn foes, and subscribe so you never miss the scrolls that follow. Until quills scratch again, I remain Maester Black, guardian of inconvenient legends and tales too large to cage. Valor Dohaeris, and may your debates burn as hot as dragon flame.